Yeah, it's almost 8:05 now, so you guys can just start the problems. You guys have until 8:50 to do all the questions. And once time is up or once you think you have the answers, just private message me your answers to each one. You can just send me the letters in secession. And for anyone else who's just joining here, oh, okay. Yep, as I was saying, for anyone who just joined or is joining, here is the classroom link. It's not, wait, give me a moment. Okay, that's the link. And yeah, if you have any questions, just message me and at 8:50, I'll be walking you guys through the solutions. And based on today, I can gauge how difficult the classes need to be. So don't feel bad if you can't do anything today. The back it gets harder as you move down, and you're not expected to be able to do the ones at the end. So yeah, if you have any questions, just message me, and I'll be here the whole time. So yeah, good luck. And if you have any clarifying questions you need about the thing I posted, just ask me also. Otherwise, I'll be here the whole time. Yeah, good luck. Just as a note, don't send me the answers. Send me all the answers at once. So at the end, because if you send them separately, it's really hard to keep track of. Also, just as a note, if you finish early, you can also message me and I have more questions. For everyone who just joined, I'll send you the Google Classroom link again. As I said, today we're just doing these 10 questions. You have until 8:50, and then we'll go over the solutions. And once time is up, please send me your answers. This goes to 9:30, so after 8:50, I'll give you guys a 10-minute break to submit your answers and stretch. And then in the last half hour, I'll go over the solutions. If there's a delay, it's because I'm reading over your answers, and if you sent answers, I'll respond with which ones you missed. For question 10, drop the picture. I forgot to include a picture for you guys. If you need a picture as supplemental, if you reload the document, you should be able to see one in just a few seconds. So for everyone, you can reattempt 10, but this is just the path he takes. So it's not needed to solve a question. But yep, I'll start grading the answers you have sent in. For everyone who sent in an answer, I've responded with which ones you should check. Don't be discouraged if you can't do the ones in the back. Those are specifically meant to be difficult, and they're taken from like the very back of AMC's. So like questions like 18, 19, 20, 25, that kind of difficulty. So if you're struggling on those, there's no need to worry. Really, if you can solve everything up to seven, when you're taking AMC, you're already looking at least 15 and a good chance of honor roll. And with a bit more practice, you can definitely get into the 20s range. We're closing in on about like 5 minutes left. Once it does hit 5:50, just send me whatever your final solutions are going to be. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Send me them. You can take a 10-minute break while I just look over your answers again, and then I'll start explanations. And most classes aren't going to be like this. Most classes, it's going to be more structured. Like you do like two, three questions, I'll explain them, and we'll work on certain topics. But this today, first class, just to gauge our strengths. And 8 o'clock, at 9 o'clock, I'll make a proper introduction. Okay, it's 5:50. If you haven't sent your answers in or want to give it one more try, you can send them in. Otherwise, we can take a 10-minute break and we'll all reconvene at 9 o'clock, where I'll make introduction and show you how to do all these. So yeah, if you've submitted answers and don't want to make any changes, you can take a break. Hey guys, let's get back together and let's start going over the questions. And I'll make a small introduction. So I'm David. I've last year I've taught a class here with based on IXL7, and I'm pretty new to the Buffalo area. I've moved here a few years ago, and I have a pretty decent background in competitive math. I've done the AMC 8 in seventh, eighth grade with like 23 in both of them. And seventh and eighth grade, I was also two times math counts nationals competitor. So yeah, I'll be hopefully guiding you guys through the competition series of math counts and AMC. And because the Buffalo area doesn't offer a math counts team, if you're interested, I'm trying to host one such that you can just join through the Williamsville area and not through a specific school. Yeah, but besides that, let's just start the problem. So question one. So Harry and Terry are told to calculate this, right? And Harry gets the correct answer, and Terry ignores the parentheses. So this is what Harry's calculating this correctly, and Terry is calculating this. So if we follow order of operations for this one, we get 8 minus 7 plus 1. For this one, we get 6 plus 5, so 11. So H minus T equals 1 minus, this should be 11. I jumped to the answer too quickly in my head, and this equals negative 10. Okay. And if you can't see anything, just speak up because oh, it's blurry. I forgot to focus the camera. My bad. Refocus the camera. Give me a moment. There. So okay. Solution to this one. As I was saying, this is the correct equation. This is Harry. So he solves it correctly. So we just follow normal order of operations. This one's still solved incorrectly. And yep, we got 1, 11, and then they asked us for Harry minus Harry, so negative 10. And in the future, yeah, it's probably gonna happen a lot because I forget to focus my camera a lot. So you're gonna have to speak up because I can't actually see the chat most of the time because I have to look at the questions. Yeah. So question two, Isabella had to read a book for school assignment. So she read an average of 36 pages per day for the first 3 days and an average of 44 pages per day for the next 3 days. And she finished the book reading 10 pages on the last day. How many pages were in the book? So what do we know? We know that the average is equal to the total over the number of days. So we know the total is equal to the average times the number of days. So for the first 3 days, the total is equal to the average. So 36 pages a day times 3 days, which is equal to 108. And for the next days, the next total is equal to 44 pages times 3 days, which is equal to 132. So now that we know in the first 3 days, she read 108 pages. On the next 3 days, she read 132 pages. On the last day, she read 10 pages. So we know, we just add these. Got our answer. Let the be B. Any questions? You can't speak up. I didn't let you unmute. I thought I turned it on. Did I turn it off an accident? That might be awkward. I, I did turn that. I did turn that off. I meant to turn that on. Oh, wait. Yeah, I turned a lot of things off. I meant to turn on. Okay, that's my bad. Oops. So on to question three. 6 rectangles with a common base of 2 and have lengths of 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, and 36. What's the sum? So we know the area is equal to base times height. So, or width times length is equal to. So we all know this is the width 2. So the area of the first one is equal to 2 times 1. This one is 2 times 4, 2 times 9, and all the way on to 2 times 36. But there's something in common. They all have a 2. And if we just use the distributive law in multiplication, we see that this is equal to 2 times, in parentheses, 1 plus 4 plus 9 plus 16 plus 25 plus 36. And if we break this out, we can see there's the 2 times 1, the 2 times 4, the 2 times 9, 2 times 16, 2 times 25, and 2 times 36. So this is a quick shortcut. You can always do it like this, but this is just a bit faster. But you'll get the same answer. And then we'll get 2 times, okay, what is this? So this is 1 plus 5 plus 14 plus 30 plus 55 and plus 91. I think I did that right. Yeah, 91. So we have that is 182, which is your answer, and D. Okay, any questions for this one? Okay. Question 4. So we have a triangle ABCD. I mean ABC and D is a point on AC. So let me draw it. For all these geometry questions, you usually want to draw your own diagram or use the one that it's provided. So if you're taking the AMC on paper, they'll give you a diagram you can draw on, but usually you want to try drawing these out and don't try to visualize everything. So, and we know that BD is equal to DC. So this is equal to this. And BCD is equal to 70 degrees. So we want to find the measure of ADB. So this. So what do we know? We know that's a triangle. So, and the sum of all the angles in a triangle is 180. And we also know that this is an isosceles triangle. And for every isosceles triangle, these two angles are the same. And this happens to be in the exact same formation. So this and this must be the same because it's just the identity of an isosceles triangle. And because the angles in here sum to 140, this must be 40. So now they sum to 180. And now this is a straight line. AC is a straight line, and these two angles add together form a straight line. So this plus 40 must be 180. So this is 140. Okay. And now we're just left with this triangle and this greater triangle over here. And we know in triangle ABD, point is a D inside AC such that BD equals DC. Okay. And now we want to work this problem by thinking, how can we solve for this angle? So we know the sum, ADB. I mean, ADB. I misread it. So ADB is 140. So yeah, for these questions, if you don't know where to start, just label your angles and label your sides, and you can see where it goes. So ADB is 140. Any questions? Why does it equal? Yeah, ADB. I misspoke the first time. So why does it equal 140? So what we're doing is, so first we listen to what the question tells us. So we know that D, so what does the question tell us? BDC is isosceles. I'm sorry, iso. And we also know that the angle of BCD is equal to 70 degrees, right? And now that we know for every isosceles triangle, the two angles at the base are equal. This is something you just have to know. And if you know that, that means you know, so this implies, what these imply, this implies that DBC is also equal to 70 degrees. And because the sum of the angles in a triangle are 180, you have 70 plus x equals 180. So you know x is equal to 40. And we know this is AC is a straight line, and D is just a point on it. So the angle on this side plus the angle on this side must be 180 because it's a straight line. And we know that this side is 40, so this side must be 140 to sum to 180. Okay. And moving on to question 5. A magazine printed photos of 3 celebrities along with 3 photos of the celebrities as babies. The baby pictures do not identify the celebrities. Readers are able to match a celebrity with the correct baby picture. What is the probability that the reader guessing at random will match all 3 correctly? This is a basic probability question. So for the real celebrities, let's call them A, B, and C. And now for the babies pictures, let's just call them lowercase a, lowercase b, lowercase c. And obviously A goes to A, B goes to B, C goes to C. So let's start. So say we're the reader of the magazine. Let's start with celebrity A. We're going to randomly select one of these. So what is the probability that the letter we randomly select is A, so it matches? Like we have a celebrity and we have the 3 pictures. And because it's random, we're randomly selecting one of the pictures. So there's 3 pictures and only one of them is correct. So there's a 1/3 chance that we select the first one correctly. And not because these events are independent. And now assuming we select correctly, so there's a 1/3 chance that happened, we move on to celebrity B. So what are the chances we randomly select the baby picture B that lines up with B? Well, there's 2 options, so there's a 1/2 chance that happens. Okay, and now there's C, there's 1 option. So that's if we get here, there's a 100% chance this happens. So if we multiply all the probabilities together, you get 1/6. Any questions for this one? This is an introduction to probability question, where you find the probability of one event happening, and then the probability of the next event happening occurs when you just multiply them. So it's like rolling 2 6s on a die. You can roll there's a 1/6 chance you roll 1/6. And whatever you get on the second die isn't affected by what you get on the first die. And then the chance of you getting a 12 means that both of them have to occur. So it's 1/6 times 1/6. This is the scenario where this works. It's because the events are independent. They have no effect on each other. Okay, so question 6. This is a basic number theory question. So we know that n squared plus m squared is even. What does this mean? This means 2 things. N and m are even, because an even number squared is always even. So let's put these baselines down. Even squared is even, and odd squared is always odd. So we have the one scenario where they're both even, because an even plus an even is an even. And there's also the case where if they're both odd, then squared are both odd numbers, and an odd plus an odd are always even. So that we know, that immediately tells us that m and n are even, and m and n can be odd. So a and b can't be correct. And n plus m is even. Okay, n plus m is even only if n and m are even or n and m are odd. But these are the only 2 options. So we know that m plus n is always can be even. Like, for example, 2 and 2, 2 squared plus 2 squared, and 2 plus 2. That's even. Now, n and m is odd. There's only one way to make an odd number through addition, where 1 is even and 1 is odd. But this is where we reach a contradiction. If we say that n is even and m is odd, n squared plus m squared is an odd. So if you have even plus odd, so even squared plus odd squared equals even plus odd, which equals odd. And this obviously can't be true because even the 2 numbers squared are even, which tells us D is the incorrect answer. Any questions on this one? This one is just one where you have to slowly reason through the options. Like, okay, let's start with what we do know. We know that 2 even numbers make an even number and 2 odds. The recording, yes, I'll post a link to YouTube and I'll send the link in the WeChat and also the Google Classroom. So you can obviously, if you miss a class, you can watch the solutions, and if you're unclear, you can also rewatch the solutions. Okay. Now this one, 7. 7 troubled some people. The middle school 8 basketball conference. So let's call these schools 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And each team plays each other team in a conference. So this is our conference. Let's put them in a box so we know it's a conference. Okay? And then the team plays 4 games against non-conference opponents. I'll call them A, B, C, D. Okay, so what's the total number of games involving one of the middle 8? So we have 2 groups. Someone in the middle 8 could be playing another team in the middle 8, or a team in the middle 8 could be playing one of the teams outside the middle 8. So if one is playing 2, that game counts. But if one is playing A, that game also counts. But if A is playing B, that team doesn't count. So at least one of the teams always has to come from inside the middle 8. So we have 2 cases. We have our first case. I can't spell. So both teams are part of the 8. So let's start with this case. This is a classic handshake problem. So how many total games can there be? Well, let's start with team 1. Team 1 can play team 2, team 3, team 4, team 5, team 6, team 7, and team 8, right? So there's 7 matchups there, because team 1 can play any of the other 7 teams. Now let's count the matchups for team 2. Team 2 has already played team 1, because team 1 just played all the teams. And 1 playing 2 is the same thing as 2 playing 1. So team 2 can only play against team 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's only 6. Because let's move on to team 3. Team 3 has already played 1 and 2. So team 3 can only play 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And this continues all the way down to team 7, which can only play team 8. So this means all the schools have played each other once. Because 1 has played every team, 2 has played every team, 3 has played every team, etc. But they said every school plays each other home team twice. So this is how many times they played to play everyone once. For twice, we have to double it. So we get 2, and I think this sum is 28, but 56. Okay? And now we have to look at all the games against non-conference 8 teams, middle 8. So 1 can play A, 1 can play B, 1 can play C, and 1 can play D, right? So we have 4. And team 2 can play each one of these teams. Because now team 2 playing A is not the same thing as team 1 playing A. Because not both teams are the same. And this repeats for all 8 teams, right? So we got this. So there's 32 because it's just 4 times 8. So now we have our 2 cases where they're both part of the middle 8, or case 2, 1 team. Okay? Now let's add these. So we get 88 as the total. We just need to add these. Any questions for question 7? You see the 7 times 8. That's just a coincidence, but that doesn't actually work. The reason the 7 times 8 does work, if you look at it, it's a pretty cool phenomenon. So let's say, so the reason the 7 times 8 seems to work for the home games is because this is the first one, but say I reverse the order. So instead of doubling it, I just flipped it. So now these sum to 8, these sum to 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. This is 8 times 7. So this does work for here, but you have to know why it works. Because, like, say if they only played each other once, you don't want to use that because it doesn't work. So, yeah. So in this case, yes, it does work because, well, in this case, if you're thinking about it in a counting sense, you can also think it like this. This is behind the formula for, like, the formula is, so we're going to choose one team out of these. So there's 8. And now we have to choose a second team to be part of a matchup. So we already chose, like, say we chose team 8. There's 7 choices left. So 8 times 7. But now we have to assume for double counting. So say if we chose teams 1 and 2, choosing teams 1 and 2 is the same as choosing as teams 2 and 1. So we have to divide by 2, which equals half of 56, but we're doing this twice. So that's why 7 times 8 works. So if you know the counting principle behind it, yes, you can do it. Otherwise, you can also stick with the summation. But yes, and for your scenario, because home and away, it is just 8 times 7 because you gotta choose the home team and then you choose the away team. So yes. So if you know the underlying reason, yes, you can do 7 times 8. But otherwise, this is perfectly fine. This is a safer option, but if you know why, you can choose a home team and an away team. So you get 8 choices for your home team, 7 choices for the away team, 56 matches. Yes, you can do that. So this is the more advanced. This is the more advanced method and much faster though. So you can really choose your way. Doesn't matter. Either way, you get to the same answer. Question 8. This is a 3D problem, which is a bit harder to think of. So let's think about this. We have a cube. What kind of blocks can there be in the cube? Well, let's think about it. The blocks can be, there's one block of the cube in the center, right? I spelled center wrong. So 0 faces are exposed because you're in the center of a cube. On every side, you have something blocking you. So there's no faces exposed. But now there's another case. So let's assume this is a side. Like this is a 3 by 3. You know what? That was a really bad drawing. Okay, let's think about it. We can be in the middle. So middle of a face. So on all your sides, you're covered by another cube, and the only side exposing is one. So you have one face exposed. Now let's say you're on an edge. You have this face and the face down here exposed. So there's 2 faces exposed. So you have 2 faces exposed. And the last spot you can be on a cube is in the corner, where you have. So if we finish the cube, this, and this are all exposed. The corners have 3 faces. So, and we want to have the least possible faces exposed. So let's think about it. We have 6 middle, right? We have 1 in the center, and we have 8 corners, and everything else is an edge. So what do we want to do? We want to minimize the number of total faces. How do we do that? Well, we have 6 white cubes, and the rest are all red. We obviously want to put 1 white cube in the middle, because that face doesn't show at all. And that helps us create the smallest possible. So we want 1 in the middle, and now we have 5 faces left. And we want that number also to be as small as possible. So we don't want to choose anything with 2 faces or 3 faces until we have to. So we want all 5 faces to be in the middle of a face. So only one side is exposed. And there's 5 of those. So we got to put 5 middles. So what is that? You have 1 in the... I just realized these are really bad names. I'm going to call this center. Okay, 1 in the center. Okay, so this has 0 faces exposed because it's covered on every side. And for the last 5 cubes, we decided that putting it in the middle of a face exposes the least sides. So only one side can be seen that's white. Okay? Not one face. So now you have this as 0 plus 5. So we have 5 faces. So now all we have to do is calculate the total number of faces. Well, we know there are 6 sides to a cube. On each side, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 faces. So we have 45 total. 54 total. So then we put 5 over 54. And that's the smallest fraction that can be exposed. So this is a tricky question. This was one of the harder questions. So you just need you to be able to visualize a cube. And yeah, some drawings like this might help. Any questions for this one? If there's no questions, if there's no questions, we can move on. Question 9. Okay, so what is question 9? A two-digit number is such that the product of the digits of the sum of the digits is equal to the number. What is the units digit of the number? This is one of the questions where it's not testing your math skills, it's testing your reading skills. So we have a two-digit number. Let's just call this number AB. So this A could obviously be 7, B could be 8, so we get 78. Let's call this number AB. So what is AB equal to? AB is equal to 10 times A plus B, right? Because like say we have 23 as our number. A would be 2 because it's the first number. B would be 3 because it's a units digit. But now we have 2 and 3. How do we make this? 10 times A is equal to 20 plus B is 3. So for a number AB, it's equal to 10A plus B. So now we know this number is equal to the product of the digits. So A times B. And don't mistake this for the number AB. It's only the number if you draw a line over it. That's just the way to denote numbers plus products. Plus the sum of the digits. So plus A plus B is equal to the number. So we know a two-digit number is the product of the digits plus the sum of the digits is equal to the number. So now we want to find the units digit. The units digit is just a ones digit, so it's B. So now we just have to solve this. So let's subtract what we know. The B's cancel out. And then we can subtract the A from over here. This is a B. Well, I don't know why I crossed the A. I'm too tired for this. We have 9A equals AB because we subtracted AB from both sides, right? So what now we have to find B. What is B? Well, we see both sides have an A. We're going to divide both sides by an A. We're going to do B equals 9. So if you understood what the question asked, so the entire question it becomes a really easy question, just if you think of it as the numbers as the first digit is a variable and the second digit is a variable, then if you write it like this, the question becomes extremely easy. But the hardest part is finding this step. Yeah, but once you see the step, it should be simple. So does everyone get this? This is whenever you're working with these problems, you always want to break into this. So look, if they said it was a three-digit, you can always if they gave you a number like 182, you can always break this into 100. You can always break it into that. So 182, 182. So this is a simplification that you always want to know. And for the last question of the day, a straight mile stretch of highway 40 feet wide. So let's start with a drawing. So we know this is 40. Is closed and he rides his path in so it's semicircles. So let's draw this. And this continues. This looks more like a sign than a semicircle, but you know what I mean. So I want to see how long it takes him to cover a 1 mile stretch of road. So let's start. We know this is 40 feet, right? So we know a semicircle, it takes up half the road. So we know this is 20 feet. And what does knowing this is 20 feet tell us? Well, this is a circle, right? So this is the radius, and this is also a radius. So this is also 20 feet. And what little do you know, this is also the radius. This is also 20 feet. So what we can see is each semicircle is 40 feet long. Okay. And now we know he rides for a mile stretch of the road. So now we're gonna think. How long will it take him to cover a mile? Well, how many semicircles does he have to drive? So a mile this way. What is a mile? I think it's this many feet. And then each semicircle is 40 feet. So we have this many feet divided by 40 semis per feet. It's 40 feet per semi. So 40 feet per every semicircle. What does this give us? Well, we just divide these. These cross out. We divide this. So 125. 125 plus 7. You get 132 semicircles. Okay. So we're covering this much distance. Now what do we want to do? We want to find how many miles this is. So we can find, so let's find the length of a semicircle. What's our circumference? We know the circumference of a circle is equal to 2 pi r. Or the circumference of a semicircle is equal to 1/2 of this. So for semicircles, it's equal to pi r. Okay. But we already know the radius. The radius is 20 feet, because we established that. So it's equal to 20 pi. Okay? And now we have 20 pi. Let's find the total distance. So we're traveling 132 semicircles. Let's multiply. So we're left with 200. Okay? Okay, so we know this is this many feet. Well, pi for the pi feet. And we get this from 132 semis times 20 pi per semi, right? Because we have 132 semicircles, and each one has a circumference of 20 pi. So this gets us the total feet. But now we know we have to move at 5 miles per hour. Do we know what this number is? This is the half a mile. So we can write this as 1/2 pi miles. Because our units for our speed are miles per hour. So now we have to work with the simple formula. Distance equals speed times time. And we obviously know this. If we're driving at 60 miles an hour for half an hour, we do 60 times 1/2 we move 30 miles. We could do the same for here. But now we want to find the time. So we just move speed over here. We get time equals distance over speed. And now we have our distance. So we have 1/2 pi divided by our speed, 5. So what is this? 1/10 pi over 10. So you get your answer is B. Are there any questions for this one? And if there aren't any questions, you're free to go for today. And I'll post like a short homework in there. It's gonna be like 2 questions long, 3 questions long. I mean, it's just do a little bit, see your skills. Yeah, but that's it. If you have any questions, you can stay after the meeting. So if you have any questions, just stay. Otherwise, you're free to go. I'll stay in here for another 5 minutes. And if no one's here, I'll obviously leave. But otherwise, yeah, you're free to go. Yep, see ya.